Hello, hello, hello. My name is NicholassRivas, and I talk about politics and stuff. And today we're going to be playing some Call of Duty, Search and Destroy. Talking about the UFC fight night. It was a pretty good fight night. I honestly probably one of the best. I watched it kind of intermittently. We were kind of running around, which was typically how it works. Usually when I watch and I'm like attentive to a fight, it's pretty boring. But then with these, I was like, oh, put it on in the background, kind of doing other stuff, running around, playing on my phone, and like there was like just incredible fights. The big ones that I really watched was the Cheeto and Cruz fight, and the Nunes and I'm forgetting the person's name, but Amanda's wife, who's kind of on a little bit of a comeback in a sense. Like I know she lost her last fight when she came back after having the baby, but I was one of those people who didn't think like, oh, she's just gonna falter, never really come back and show herself because she was a pretty decent fighter. I mean, a lot of people coming out of American Top Team, I think that's it's right there, American Top Team. I know of them as people who are pretty determined, who are pretty. I think it's an all around solid team. But I think there's also just people who shine, and I think Amanda Nunes is one of those. So I think her camp is really good, but I wasn't expecting to see Amanda Nunes, with her wife, the same caliber of fighter. But she did good, and I think she held her own definitely from coming back. I know when she had that interview after her first loss, when coming back, she said, I didn't feel like I was done. She said like where there was fights where like she's like, oh wow, this is it. But that second fight or that fight when she came back was more like, you know what, gotta pick myself up, dust the dirt off my shoulder, like like it's it ain't over just yet. And I think I saw that with her. Like I think she has some more potential. It's hard having a kid though after or having a fight after after having a kid and coming back and trying to fight, it's definitely one of the probably the harder things to ever do. And so no one's like knocking her for taking time off if she does, but I think the mindset that she's over is just it's not there yet. I think she has a pretty good career with her still, and we'll definitely see it as time comes. But it was pretty solid. I know the fight night, just seeing clips here and there, having it in the background. I didn't watch every single card, but it seemed like just a damn good like fight, just damn good finishes. It was weird too. I think the last fight night, it was the same mindset of like, I think it was like 10 out of the 11 fights were finishes. Like just some crazy statistics that's been going on. I think some good cards we've been having, and of course the upcoming cards are just as exciting. So I don't know. I'm definitely very proud to be watching these fight nights, and I think people sleeping on them is a really bad idea. I mean, I am like usually when a fight night comes on, it's kind of me doing other stuff and watching in the background. But I'm usually attentive with like a bunch of people, like a big group, during the main UFC cards like the 270s and yada yadas. So it's just interesting to see the dynamic of these like fight night cards really showing themselves. I mean, my most recent one I remember watching was the Paddy Pimblett. Bitch. So the most recent one where I treated like a big card was the Paddy Pimblett one. So I don't know. It's interesting, and I guess we'll see how these continue, because I feel like they were kind of a dry spell for a while, and definitely the next fight night, I'm not excited for. I think it's so Ciryl Gane, he's fighting, and that's the one I'm really hyped for. The Kamsat one, I don't know if that's just considered a UFC number though. I would have to check. But some of the cards I'm excited for, some of the cards I'm not, and we'll talk about it too. But let's get to the main thing, was just Dominic Cruz versus Vera. Marlon Vera. Really disappointed. Not to say the fight was bad. I think the fight was great. I think it was a pretty good back and forth. Cruz definitely had his moments, so it wasn't like a fucking shutout. Like he held his own. So I'm very disappointed in people saying that it was just this like, ugh, what do you expect? He's old, yada yada. I think people are really putting themselves in a bad corner by not painting Cruz with the respect he deserves, because he did good, and I think Marlon just caught him, and it wasn't like a pray and shoot type of thing. Marlon caught him with a valid strategic. Like I'm catching this guy because he's slipping. Like he was slipping. Dominic did the same dodge that he always does. He leans left and he got caught. And his odd style may have caught up with him. I kept seeing people say this comment of like, hey, this guy is in his 20s. Dominic has been fighting since 2010. That was his like championship time. Like the guy's been in the game for a minute. Shit catches up to you. It is what it is, from Tony to Dom, right? But I just think you got to give Dom his dues. The guy was at the same age as Vera. He was damn, that sucked. At Vera, he was a champion, 2-time I think champion. So I don't like that disrespect for Cruz. I think a lot of people are giving his dues, but Dominic fought his heart out, and I think it's safe to say we're not going to see him go for championship. So next fight, if he's still if he's okay, give it to Aldo v Cruz, and that'd be a great legacy to end on. But we'll see what happens from here. Vera though is on track to fight for title though. I give him that. He should. I mean, he looks solid. Again, he wasn't hoping and throwing. He really was methodical. That's one thing you have to give Vera. His defense is beautiful. He does have that really close guard. But it was just, he saw the opening. I don't think Cruz's odd style is that odd anymore. I think a lot of people have just these wild tactics and just these different forms. And Vera is very adaptable. Cruz is adaptable too. So I'm not trying to just say it was all that, like, oh, his style just finally cut it. Like that's the only thing. It was only style, and it was only eventually going to, because it eventually happens to everyone. Everybody will eventually get their dues and get their caught ups and get knocked out if you're in the game for too long. We saw 2 leg breaks in the middleweight division. Like, how you not gonna expect, a inevitability, right? But I do see a world where Jesus Christ, where's this guy? I do see a world where Cruz is done and Vera gets some title shot. I don't know. Oh, so my memory's going kind of foggy with this. I think we have the next. I think the next big fight for the bantamweight is the title fight, right? And so I guess Vera should get someone after that. I mean, that's what I'm just assuming. I'm not sure who has the dues. So Marlon, yeah, he's number 5. Whoever wins between Dillashaw and Sterling should get Vera. It makes sense to me. I don't think there's any opposition. I don't even think that's controversial. I think that's just the track, right? Because if Piotr and Sugar win, I don't see the idea that they should get a title. Maybe after the Vera fight, but see, that's what I'm saying. Is like, I just don't God damn it, I'm getting my ass beat. I'm not seeing a world where they get this title card yet. Maybe after the next fight, definitely, because I mean they're up there. They're the big names and they're the guys winning. So yeah, I would love to see a Sugar versus Vera. That would be a pretty interesting fight, and I think we're gonna get that fight soon, depending on what happens with Piotr and Sugar. But if Marlon loses, and maybe a title shot, and Sugar loses, then I would see Marlon. But yeah, bantamweight's looking good. Bantamweight, lightweight, and flyweight. This is me a lot of rambling now. I'm not really focused on the fight night as much, but flyweight is gonna get some love soon. I mean, that Kai Kara France fight was great with Brandon Moreno, and we'll see what happens with Figgy and Brandon. But this whole list of people in the rankings, they've been sitting on the sidelines, so we got to see them fight. We have to see them do some title cards for some new faces. Like, I think we can see a world where, I don't know too much about Alexandra Pantoja, but I know Azakrov, we know Alex Perez. Like these names are going to be Tim Elliott. You know, these are some good names. These are going to be some damn interesting names to the division. I think also too, like, side note, featherweight. People like to just write off the featherweight division. I think they're still figuring themselves out, but you have great people like Bryce Mitchell, Giga Chiksa, Josh Emmett. Come on, Josh Emmett. I think could give Alexander a run for his money. I'm not saying he's gonna win, because I think Alexander is in that. Like, I see why the people shit on the featherweight division, because you're like, okay, really are these guys gonna win against Volkanovski? And it's like, no, but you know, I think there's a chance, but I think a lot of people are like, when you look at other divisions, you think, oh, like there's a for sure, you know, chance, where these people are just getting rid off left and right, you know. And I get it. But yeah, I am excited. We'll see what these cards coming up, but I think I can end it here. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe, and new videos every other day, and Papa blessed.